Do you wish your main base supplies was over 200,000? Stick around and I'll explain why cargo containers outperform ammo depots in the long run, despite the fact that ammo depots hold more supplies than cargo containers. Here's a quick spreadsheet that breaks it all down, but so I don't bore you, we'll get back to that later. To get our data points, we need to get a baseline for everything first. On vanilla, you start out with the command tent holding 1,000 supplies, but it takes 4% of the total base allocations. So we'll do this by building each one individually to get our data points, but I'll speed through it so y'all don't have to sit through this. We can see the radio tower takes less than 1% for each one that's built. But as you can see, the radio towers don't add to the total 1,000. And 4 plus 1 is 5% total of the base allocation. So our radio relay, capacity 0, base percentage, we'll call it 1. So now I'll take this down and we'll move to the next. Now here you can see that the arsenal uses 3% of the base allocations. And you can see that our supply capacity now has gone up to 5,800. 48 plus the original 1,000 makes 58. Now I want to highlight that the original command post said 4% and the ammo arsenal said 3%, but yet that total is 8%, so there is some kind of difference in there. Alright, so our ammo depot is 4,800 capacity with the base cost of 3%, so for each percent we're getting 1,600 supplies. Alright, let me get rid of this and go to the next one, and I'll speed through the rest since we're really just comparing the ammo depot and the cargo depot. Light vehicle uses 2%. And can hold 2,100 supplies. The fuel depot uses 2% of the allocation and also holds 0 supplies. Small living quarters uses 5% allocation and holds 1,100 supplies. The field hospital uses 9% allocation and holds 2,100 supplies. The heavy vehicle depot uses 8% allocation and holds 2,400 supplies. The helipad uses 6% allocation and holds 2,100 supplies. The large living quarters use 25% of base allocation and holds 2,300 supplies. And the supply depot uses less than 1, but we'll call it 1, and provides 3,000 supplies. So I've plugged in all the numbers, but the two we're looking at is the ammunition depot, 4,800, 3, that makes 1,600 per percent. And yet the supply depot only costs 1% and holds 3,000, so you get 3,000 supplies for each percent. First, let's make a base by adding one of everything we're going to need. Ammunition supply point, radio relay station, small living quarters, heavy vehicle depot, small fuel supply, light vehicle depot, our helipad. Let's add a medical tent in the name of being thorough. Floodlight doesn't do jack, but we're going to add one anyway. Put a supply depot over here just so we have one of everything. Alright, so now we have an operational base. You could do pretty much whatever you need to do here. So now we have all available services. We can store up to 18,600 storage, but we're only using 45% of our base allocations. So the rest of that we're going to do in storage in both ways and show you the difference. So we're able to build 16 more before we run into 99% and can no longer build anymore. Let's grab our shovel and dig those in. Alright, there you have it, 95,400, and the base allocation is maxed. I just deleted all the 16 extra arsenals. The only one left is the one you see there in the main base of our original. We're back to 18,600 points and back at the 45%. Now we're going to use the rest of that 45% and make cargo containers, the supply depots, and see how much we get there. I'm going to first make 7 of the massive storage helipads. That would make 28, which is the breaking point where you begin to overtake the arsenal. So with just 7 of the massive storage helipads, you're already at 102,600 and you're only using 73% so far. Already outperforming, and we got more we can do. Alright, with 27% more to go and already outperforming, you could add more helipads now if you want to, more arsenals or whatever. But what we're going to do is show how much we can actually get if we just make it about supplies. Added 6 more helipads and a little half a helipad over here. Alright, so we have maxed it out. We are now at 180,600 storage and 99%. So now that we got both of those down, let's go a little extreme, get rid of the medical tent and the spotlight, and replace that with storage as well. And there we have it, 208,500 at 99%. So the question is, which is best? Well, it's really going to depend on how much space you have. If you don't have a lot of space, arsenals are going to win every time, hands down. If you have plenty of space to put the cargo containers and max those out, then those win hands down every time. But most bases, you're going to need a mix like this, where you have 7 of those massive storage helipads to separate that from the real helipads where people need to spawn, rearm, or fix their helicopters. Splitting that up helps with traffic. And then you're going to have your arsenals over here next to the command tent, and then your small and large truck depots all spread out. And something like this is probably going to be best, but you're going to have to be specific to whichever base you're building on. But now that you know this, you can probably do that a little easier. If you find this helpful, leave a message in the comment, and if I've overlooked something, let me know that too. Thanks for watching.